But Hamza promised me I could still kick dudes in the balls. We could make an entire episode out of that.
Playing like these big franchises, and I'm just thinking about like how all of these franchises that used to be, or all these great games like back before the video game industry was as huge, just never got chances for sequels. And I was thinking about games that I just desperately like. I would love to see a sequel to Earthbound.
A lot of
like
people would.
Still,
didn't they make a bunch of sequels to that?
They made Mother 3, which came out in Japan, never came out over here, and it's not like a direct sequel in that it like involves different characters. But they're not bringing it here, and it was for the GBA, and I just kind of like, I want like a new, like next like gen Earthbound.
That I think just Japan is just messing with us because they've got it, and there's people who want it, but they're like.
I mean, there's always somebody who wants a sequel to any game. That doesn't necessarily mean it should happen.
No, but I think there's a big community that wants Earthbound, and I also
when there are people who are translating your games, just get those people to translate your game. They're doing it for free already.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there are a lot of people that want a sequel to Earthbound, and I think Earthbound, even if you don't know what it is, just because it was so tongue-in-cheek, and it had like a very self-aware sense of humor, and it had like a very kind of satirical view of American culture, like I think it would kill right now.
Yeah, it's Adventure Time.
It totally is.
Would absolutely kill.
You know what somebody needs to make? A sequel to Road Rash.
Yes!
How does that not exist?
Oh my god.
It makes so much sense.
Apparently Midway was working on a sequel to Road Rash, and then that was Midway, so it didn't happen. It fell apart.
Didn't they have some on the PSP? I think they had like a remastered version, maybe?
They thought they had a Road Rash on N64, but it was actually just like an allergic reaction. It wasn't like a proper rash.
I would kill to see like a Criterion Road Rash.
Dude, I'd be all over it. Some guy put up like animation just demo of like, hey, we can make a Road Rash, this is what it might look like. I spent my time making this because I really want a new Road Rash, and it's a beautiful thing.
Screw those realistic driving sims. I want to fucking like take someone's tire out with a chain.
Road Rash is one of those games that's such a product of the 90s.
I want to crash my motorcycle, and I want the ambulance to come and pick up my motorcycle and take it away while I'm lying there bleeding in the desert.
Like run, yeah.
I want to drive through the hills of Kenya.
Those games were amazing.
Yeah.
What would I keep saying this, but I really would love to see sequels to really a number of 90s fighting games. And I would like to see them done in the way that the most recent Mortal Kombat was done. If NetherRealm took a stab at it, they obviously are really good at making that kind of spiritual successor to like dumb button mashy Sega fighting games. Eternal Champions would be great. Killer Instinct would be great.
Clay Fighter
would be okay.
Would be amazing.
It's
one of those games that would never be taken seriously enough, but it would still be like crazy balls out.
The thing is that claymation is less exciting now.
It's possible that I just have really good memories of that game, and a sequel would actually be terrible.
I am shocked that there has not been a Killer Instinct since the I'm shocked. Like,
well, Rare fell apart.
Yeah.
Rare has a lot of great. I would love to see Blast Corps.
Battletoads.
I'd love to see Battletoads. That was them. They did Perfect Dark. Was it something Perfect Dark for the
Perfect Dark
360
Zero?
Was a launch title.
But they have so much great stuff before they were kind of just like enveloped that I would love to see happen.
It's so weird now though, because you make a sequel to a game that hasn't had a sequel in over 10 years, and like, do you expect it to look like the original product? Like, so much has changed hardware-wise. You have to completely revamp it.
Video game companies are just dumb for not just going straight for the nostalgic.
It's hard though, because people who have like a huge nostalgia boner for games from the 90s and stuff, like, they have really high expectations of games.
So the nice thing about Killer Instinct is Killer Instinct was always about just pushing hardware as much as it could. Like, it was supposed to be a super just high-tech, as realistic as possible game. So you could do a Killer Instinct. I mean, realistic looking. Like, it was supposed to, it used like all the render effects. It was supposed to be very pretty. But if you did that now, all you would have to do is the same thing, push the hardware.
Yeah, those are great. Eternal Champions, no one cares, but that had a cat burglar who had a grappling hook move and would karate kick people in the face.
It was not
Didn't matter if they were the Prince of Atlantis. He'd kick them in the face, and there was a caveman who could throw you into a volcano and a Tyrannosaurus would eat you, because the 90s was stupid.
There are a lot of games that I want to see sequels of, but at the same time, I just know they'd be so bad. Like take Streets of Rage, the best game of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
The best game.
Number one out of all electronic gaming media that's ever existed.
Don't question my authority.
Not even Streets of Rage 2, but Streets of Rage.
Oh, Streets of Rage 2 is definitely better than Streets of Rage.
You are walking down Streets of Rage right now.
I was just referring to the series as a whole.
Okay.
If they tried to make a follow-up to that right now, like what would it even look like? Would it be?
It would look like Double Dragon Neon.
It would be terrible, I bet you. It would be terrible. And then somebody actually tries to do it, and Sega just fucking like pulls the plug on it immediately.
If Sega isn't paying those people right now, I'm gonna go home and just fucking cut up a bunch of Sonic the Hedgehog plushies.
Sega is another one that was just like Rare, where they're just some guy in his desk drawer has the rights to all this great IP. And they're not doing it. They're not doing Shenmue. They're not doing like a new
Why would you make a game based on the whale at SeaWorld?
Well, because number one, he's adorable. And number two...
Orcas must die.
But they have Burning Rangers, they have
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Crazy Taxi. They're not sitting on Sonic the Hedgehog, unfortunately. They're just burning that, burning that to the ground.
They're sitting on it like, Slim Pickens and Dr. Strangelove. They're like, Sonic the Hedgehog, let's just burn. It's
funny that you bring Sonic up, because it seems like there's a small portion of games from the 90s that just get beaten to death with sequels, and then others they deserve them and they don't get them. It's all about sales.
We're seeing a lot of stuff that's getting kickstarted too. We've got a Leisure Suit Larry reboot. We've got Wasteland.
I feel like Kickstarter is really going to be like the driving force of bringing a lot of these franchises back. If a publisher says no when you come to them with an idea for a sequel, like Kickstarter is a perfectly reasonable second choice.
I want to see Alex Kidd.
And if enough people donate,
Alex Kidd, that's another one.
Alex Kidd in the Magic College. Alex Kidd has a kid. Alex Kidd in this modern day and age.
Alex grandkid.
Alex Kidd post-divorce dating.
But going back to that, like Kickstarter being a super reasonable place, it's a reasonable place, but people are going to it with completely unreasonable ideas. And I think there are some things, like you were saying, like some sequels have just been beaten into the ground so much, where publishers and developers need to step back and be like, okay.
Yeah.
All right, maybe like it's time to let this one go. Maybe it's time to move on to something else.
Even if they didn't like nix it all together, if they just started releasing fewer of them, like we don't need several episodes of Sonic.
No, get one of them right. It's easy. That's
just get one of them right and then sit on it for 2 or 3 years and then make another one.
Yeah.
Don't shove it down our throats every year.
And in the meantime, you take that terrible Sonic the Hedgehog team and you put them on a sequel to Beyond Oasis or something else that was like Vector Man. Anything. Give me anything new or anything old. Echo. The Echo for the Dreamcast was really good. Where's the new Echo? Why are you sitting on that?
Is there an Echo in here?
It's because it's a dolphin, but also a thing that happens with sound.
Yes, it's sonar. I think the Kickstarter thing. Once we see these things that have been kickstarted that are like tickling our little, nostalgia boners. That was a weird sentence. I mean, then I'll believe in it.
Tell me about tickling nostalgia boners.
What?
How exactly does that work?
Yeah.
Is it like with a feather?
What were you picturing when you said tickling a nostalgia boner?
The part in The Hangover 2.
He pointed to his ears, so I have to assume it's something involving this area.
I pointed over there.
No, it was clearly to your ear. What do you
Pretty sure there was insertion involved.
What are you into?